Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of the build of the week, the artificial life forms category, against the red zone. And specifically we're going to look at the Broly red zone. I think the Broly red zone's a tough one, and it's also got a pretty interesting build up. And I just wanted to look at how some of the artificial life forms characters kind of perform in this space. So I'm not fortunate enough to have a Gamma 1 as a lead, so I'm running the Tech, Boo and Evil Boo, a unit that actually surprisingly holds up pretty well, especially with an item, very well. But yeah, so that's my lead. In terms of the rest of the team, it's pretty straightforward. So we have the physical LR Buhan, a unit that's very solid, stacks defense on his 18 key, which is very good, and also has the ability to fire off additional super attacks depending on whether we get his 18 key or not. Has a transformation which we can activate at certain points to provide a heal and also to boost his own attack and defense. He will lose the ability to stack defense during this transformation, but he would seal the enemy for 5 turns if the enemy was able to be sealed. So he's a pretty good unit. On the other rotation, we are going to be running a double cell lineup. So we've got the LR int cell after his EZA, an incredibly strong unit that gets stronger against multiple enemies, but also has a very potent transformation. Transformation can now be activated at less than 40%, and Cell is very good afterwards, gaining damage reduction per key sphere obtained, as well as numerous other boosts, and just in general is a pretty big menace to most events. So obviously we're running that double cell lineup, and the other cell is the physical LR cell. Now physical LR cell got a pretty good EZA. He gained 60% defense on his normal super attack, also raises defense again on his ultra super attack, and also raises defense on his 18 key. So he gets pretty good defense afterwards, especially when linked up with the int LR cell. A big issue that you can kind of see us already having is we do have a lot of physical units compared to most other lineups, which is going to cause us some problems in the long run against this event, because it's got 2 strength phases. But so obviously we have the physical LR cell, and we're also going to have floating. We're going to have the Tech Boo, and Evil Boo. Obviously a unit that has decent damage reduction but no defense, which is a bit of a shame, but decent damage reduction the whole way through. So this is going to help out quite a bit in terms of mitigating damage, especially with an item active, will help out quite a lot. And then we also have the physical LR Metal Cooler, a pretty solid unit that's going to provide healing and also hopefully a useful revive. On the other scale of useful coolers, we actually have the AGL Metal Cooler, who is a very strong unit who gains crit chance and a whole bunch of extra abilities against Pure Saiyans units. So he's going to have a little bit more usability, versatility and direction in terms of his overall performance here. And then finally we have Gamma 1, a unit that gets stronger with every single hit that he takes, and is going to be a very reliable unit for this event as a first slot tank with the LR Majin Buu. Now they don't share a lot of links, but they share a key link, and that's the most important thing, because that's going to enable Majin Buu to get his 18 key, which is very important for his long-term scaling in this event. So you need to make sure that you can get him to have his 18 key. He needs to be able to really stack and increase that 18 key so he can do a lot of damage, and also boost that defense. Without his 18 key, his defense isn't really going to look impressive, and he is going to fall off quite a bit. But yeah, overall, just still some pretty good stuff from the team in general. A lot of them don't link great. You've got Strength Gamma 1, who's not linking the wildest with the physical Alabu, but they do a decent job together. And quite honestly, I think they're a very serviceable pair. Boo, yeah, he does his own thing. He's pretty solid. We can link him up with the Tech Boo when they come around. So in general, I think he's a pretty decent unit. I think overall he does do a great job. Like here, where you can see him doing some decent damage after building up his defense. But I just think in general, yeah, the big thing lacking here is the overarching synergy. What they need to do is they need to just create one more support for the team. The Int Allow Metal Cooler is good, and could be a very good floating support, so you're willing to try him out as well. I think he's a very, very solid option in general. Obviously there are some pretty solid units that we're not using here. I think, yeah, Int Alarm Metal Cooler is definitely one of them. Strength Kid Boo we're not using. There are definitely some options, I would say, that could do a great job here. And so I don't really want to say that this is the strongest artificial life forms team. AGL Gamel 2 we don't have right now, and he's also a fantastic option. Great to pair with Strength Gamma 1. We also haven't taken a Android 16. There's plenty of great options, and you can twist and change this team as you like. I'm not saying this is the best artificial life forms team for Red Zone. I just wanted to see how some of these units held up, like the Tech Lead. I wanted to see how the LR Buhan did. I wanted to see how good that unit was. So yeah, in general, there are definitely kind of a couple units that I would say are a bit more experimental in nature. But yeah, it is what it is. One super nice thing about this team is obviously the giant form for LR Metal Cooler. Well, sorry, not LR Metal Cooler, the AGL Metal Cooler. And this giant form just basically allows us to get some free damage in. Now, if he doesn't crit, it's not the most damage in the world, especially since we're facing a tech type unit. It is a useful ability to have. This, along with the physical Metal Cooler's revive, tends to give us enough extra time to kind of get out of sticky situations, considering our team has quite a lot of regen built on it. So yeah, just in general, a pretty good, solid team build. I think for the most part there's plenty of great options that you can use to fill out this team. There's tons of free-to-play options with all the free-to-play Metal Cooler, and yeah, there's just plenty of great options. You can honestly build this team however you want, but I do think that there are some pretty solid, stable foundations for which to build various SPR and Red Zone teams. So yeah, obviously I think there are a lot of decent artificial life form options. The AGL Power Absorption Cell's also a great option that I don't have, and he helps out a lot. So there's some really good options. I do think the category needs a couple EZAs or just some versatility to kind of flesh it out, and it probably needs another support. Like there was a Cell Juniors unit that was released with the LR Int Perfect Cell, and I genuinely think that they probably should have or they should EZA that unit or bring out another one that is a artificial life form support, because I do think it is going to be important, and yeah, I do think it does provide a lot of synergy. Yeah, that little bit of attack, that little bit of defense, but more importantly that key and the various utility they tend to give support units like evasion or regeneration. I mean, it would make sense for them to regenerate since they obviously oversell, and they were quite a menace for the Z fighters. So yeah, I think in general they could be pretty solid support card options, but again, it's just going to depend on it's just going to depend on how your box looks and how you want to construct your team. Maybe you're more of a Martian guy, maybe that's the kind of flow you want to go with. That's fine, go for it. I think it'll work great. I do think artificial life forms probably works best with units utilized from various different categories, more so than units that are utilized solely from one team. I think artificial life forms is definitely greater than the sum of its parts. So I think using like the two cell units and then like a floating metal cooler and another floating metal cooler and maybe like a Majin Buu rotation or something like that, I think is the best way going forward. Or like a Gamma 1 Majin Buu rotation like I'm currently using. Just whatever you can to basically have the best unit you can possibly out there, I think is super important and will affect the team overall. I do think it is very, very, very important. But yeah, this phase was always going to be a struggle for us in general because of our physical units. And unfortunately, I forgot how the Metal Cooler Revive worked. Well, not forgot. Basically, the AoE attack is going to go off, and Metal Cooler is in the third slot, which means technically the Buhan is going to die before him, which means his revive won't activate, which is what I was counting on. But hey, but I think, yeah, the team does well. It will do better in future, but yeah, let me know what you think. Bye.